Today's lesson is on identifying complementary and supplementary angles, as well as identifying linear pairs and vertical angles. Complementary angles are two angles with a sum of 90 degrees. Each angle is the complement of the other angle. Supplementary angles are two angles whose measure have a sum of 180 degrees. Each angle is the supplement of the other angle. Adjacent angles are two angles that share a common vertex and side, but have no common interior points. Complementary and supplementary angles can be adjacent or non-adjacent angles. Linear pairs are two angles with non-common sides or opposite rays. The angles in a linear pair are supplementary angles. Vertical angles are two angles when the sides form two pairs of opposite rays. Examples are shown in the pictures. In the figure, name a pair of complementary angles, a pair of supplementary angles, and a pair of adjacent angles. Complementary angles have to equal a total of 90 degrees. So we have to find two angles that equal 90. So we have an angle 28 degrees and an angle that is 62 degrees. So complementary angles would be angles ABC and angle GEF. Next, we want two angles that are supplementary angles. These two have to equal a total of 180 degrees. That would have to be 108 plus 72. So for supplementary angles, angle DEG and angle HJK. And then finally, we want a pair of adjacent angles. Those are two angles next to each other. So that would be angles DEG and angle GEF. Our next example, angle 5, is a complement of 3, and 3 is 53 degrees. Find the measure of angle 5. Complement means that the sum is 90 degrees. So to find our answer, we're going to take 90 degrees and subtract 53 degrees. We get a total of 37 degrees. Angle 4 is a supplement of angle 2. Angle 4 is 29 degrees. Find the measure of angle 2. So since it's a supplement, means that the sum is 180 degrees. Therefore, we're going to take 180 degrees minus 29 degrees, and we get 151 degrees. The veins in a leaf form a pair of supplementary angles. Find the measures of the angles when the measure of angle 1 is 7x plus 13 and the measure of angle 2 is 25x plus 7. Our key here is what we're going to find, supplementary angles. That means the sum equals 180. I'm going to take 7x plus 13 plus 25x plus 7, set it equal to 180 degrees, and solve for x. Combine the x's. 7x plus 25x is 32x's. Combine the non-x's. 13 plus 7 is 20 equals 180. Subtract 20 from both sides. We have 32x equals 160. If I take 160 and divide it by 32, we get 5. So x equals 5. We want the measures of the angles. 7 times 5 plus 13 equals 35 plus 13, which equals 48 degrees. 25 times 5 plus 7. So I have 25 times 5, which equals 125, plus 7, which equals 132 degrees. 132 plus the 48 should equal a total of 180. So you might want to double check if your angles are right. That means your x is correct. Identify all linear pairs and all of the vertical angles in the figure. We'll start with vertical angles are angles 4 and 2, angles 1 and 3, angles 8 and 6, and angles 7 and 5. Linear pairs are any two next to each other. So that would be angles 1 and 4, 4 and 3, 3 and 2, 2 and 1, 8 and 7, 7 and 6, 6 and 5, and 8 and 5. Two angles in our next example form a linear pair. The measure of one angle is 8 times the measure of the other angle. Find the measure of each angle. Let's sketch out what we have. We have a linear pair. The measure of one, we'll call the one x, is 8 times the measure of the other angle. So we'll make this the bigger angle. Find the measure of each angle. So we know linear pair has a sum of 180, supplementary. So 8x plus x equals 180. Solve for x. 9x equals 180. Divide both sides by 9. X is equal to 20. So my first angle is 20 degrees. My second angle is 8 times 20 degrees, or 160 degrees. The last thing are just some things for you to look over from the diagram, things that you can conclude and things that you cannot conclude from a picture based on the angle pair that's given. So just read over the last thing on here for the summary sheet.